Well, hello, traders and investors. Ellie Little here, and this is your daily NeoTA wrap. Take a look at the markets, looking at it from a neoclassical perspective. Supply and demand on the charts, that's what we care about, and how things act when they get to critical points. And we were at a critical point last night. Boy, did we have a night. All I can say is, wow, what an election, what a cliffhanger, so to speak, and what a huge upset. I don't get into politics that much. I have my views, but I don't think that this show is about my views. But, there's a lot of discord out there, and that came through loud and clear with the divisive policies, the divisiveness that exists in the population. And I don't know that it's going to go away, but it's out there and it's real. Let's take a look at the numbers, and then let's talk about all the things that happened today. A huge amount of information to cover. Really can't cover it all today. We'll do some tonight, do some tomorrow. The key thing anytime you get some sort of a binary event like this, some sort of a huge upset, in this case, unexpected tailwind it turned out to be, you want to try to figure out where money is rotating to, and you want to try to figure it out as soon as you can. The big money is, got all these plans that they've considered, they're going to do X, Y, Z if candidate A wins, and, ABC if candidate Z wins. And they start putting that stuff into play anymore very quickly, and you saw that today. So we'll look at some of that. Looking at the numbers, huge reversals today. I mean, some massive reversals. And tonight you're getting them back in Asia. Look at the Nikkei up 958, 6%. It was down 6% last night. So we're going to see huge reversals in Asia tonight. We saw them in Europe. We'll look at those charts real quick. We saw them here in the U.S. We were down 105 points on the S&P 500 coming into the election results, and they flipped that around and ended it higher, quite a bit higher actually. Silver, gold, big reversals there. All also bonds, huge spanking today in the bonds. It didn't turn out well for those, and then the Russell was the big winner on the upside, 3% in the Russell, and a lot of that was in one or two sectors, and we'll talk about those as well. Let's take a look at the charts. I've got the equity bear up to start with, just to show you the kind of reversal that you saw. So that bearish sentiment been growing. This thing had pushed up, a bearish engulfing, if you will, going to take it back down the other way. And that in a capsule is what happened in this market. Now you can't see it here. I'll pull over the chart and I'll show you where things were trading last night. This is the weekly chart. After hours, we had some massive moves last night. This traded down to about into this price range last night. That's how deep it was. You came all the way down, got a huge reversal. By the time we opened this morning, it was a gap down still, and then it just continued to push and push all the way to the upside, and ended up actually, I'm doing the wrong one here when we're the daily. But anyway, we're down that far. If I go back here, we were a gap down this morning. In other words, we were way down into this area, right? By the time we opened, we were about 21, or actually when I got up, we were about 2100 or so. By the time we opened, we were up at 2123, and it just kept climbing all day long. So huge moves here. These massive moves, when you get them like this, they tell you something. What are they telling you? If you go and you just look at it from a neoclassical standpoint, right? And I'm not going to belabor this too much because I want to go through a lot of material today, but I've been talking about bullish retest regenerates, right? When you come down into these the first time after more than 6 bars, the odds are extremely high that you're going to try to bounce. And bounce we did. Bounce in a huge way. We're going to have huge volume by the end of the week. And this thing is going to go back up and try to make new highs again. Strange as it sounds, everybody expecting a big sell-off, and instead you get a big rally back the other way. That's 3 days now rally. Huge volume comes in today, 1.1% to the top side. If you look at the other indexes, not as much a move in some of those. You had bullish engulfings all over the place. Here's the NASDAQ. NASDAQ ends up the same percentage. The one that didn't do that was the NDX. Big cap tech couldn't get it going, only up 0.5%. And finally, the Russell. Oh, what a massive move in the Russell. Small cap, beta, high beta technology, especially regional banks. Just huge moves in these things. This one is definitely setting up to come back up and test this breakdown bars. You got one here at 1250 roughly, and another one at 1256. So that's the indexes. I'm going to quickly show you the world indexes, because there you can actually get a sense for how wild these moves were. I'll go to the DAX to start with. Look at the move in this DAX. Started down here on a huge gap down. You close it up here on a huge reversal. That's what happened in the S&P overnight. Just massive moves, and that was true across the board in Europe, and tonight you're seeing the same thing elsewhere. I want to pop in here and show you a few of the winners that you need to be aware of, because there's going to be certain sectors that are going to get money, or at least the expectation is that they are. And if that's the case, money's going to rotate to them. It's going to try to front run whatever Trump is going to do. I'll start with the most negative situation first, and that's going to be the bond market. Here's the total bond market. You can see a huge spike to the downside. Let me bring the weekly over for you. You can see the debt structure starting to crumble. If it goes too fast, I mean, today certainly wasn't a fast move to the downside. If this goes too fast, too far, it then becomes a problem. I think it's a little early to assume that's what's going to happen, but at this point, you definitely got problems in corporate debt. Not as much in the corporate debt, certainly in government debt, because the expectation is we're going to issue a lot of notes to go out and do all this building that we have heard that we're going to want to do. If I go to the currency markets, there, instead of getting the sell-off, which I think a lot of people expected, you got a huge push reversal. The dollar was down about 0.5% last night into this area, flips around, closes. Again, if you go to the weekly, this thing is going to do a bullish engulfing basically. It's not going to be an engulfing, but it's going to do a bullish reversal and do what I call a takeaway bar by the end of the week, it looks like, and go back up and start moving back towards those highs. On the flip side of that, the euro going the other way. We had a big reversal in gold as well. If we look at the gold market, big spike up, bearish engulfing. Gold is going to try to trade lower. I've talked about before, this area over here is where that wants to go. If you want a sense of what happened, the VIX volatility was up 45% at the peak last night. Closes down 3%. You could have made a 100% round-trip trade. As a matter of fact, when I was watching the election, I told the family, boy, if I was in the VIX, I'd be flipping that thing and going the other way at this point. It was 45% up, closed 3% down, 100% move almost, up and back. Amazing. So that was the losers. Who were the winners? Well, there were a lot of them, actually. One, in terms of a big sector, financials. Financials, massive move to the top side, breaks swing point highs on the weekly. Going to try to break them here on the monthly as well. Massive reversal, not so much a reversal, but just a massive inflow of funds into the financials. Expectation is Trump's going to get rid of a lot of that regulation, and he's going to actually push these indexes even higher. If you think that was a big move, look at the regionals. Regionals up 5.5%, almost 6%. That's the KRE, KBE, same thing. You saw huge moves there. And it wasn't just those. I mean, you could go to, I was looking at like broker dealers, for example. Here's the broker dealers. Just look at the move in the broker dealers. Same sort of massive 5% moves there. It's elsewhere too. You know, Trump wants to rebuild the military. ITA, 4.3% to the top side. PPA, same thing. If you look at like basic materials, big blowout moves in those as well. Like the one I saw that caught my eye tonight was the steel industry. Look at the steel sector, 5.5%. And if you just go down the list, base materials, energy, basic materials, all of those huge moves to the reversal right back to the top side. The market at this point, with this kind of a big move, it's going to try and push higher. And here's the GUNR, which is a basic materials. That one's up another 1.2% tonight. You're going to see this market try to move higher. And the reason for it is pretty clear, and that is that you have a change of the guard, and there's new policies, and those new policies are going to be felt in the industries that the money's going to flow to. And biotech is another one. Look at the move in biotech today, almost 9%. Of course, it's been sold down. It's still even in the range with this massive move, but that's a result of Clinton not being there anymore to depress that sector. When you get these kinds of massive moves and you see them across all the charts and you see volume escalate the way it did, and it lines up with what we saw was the major support zone, the bullish retest regenerate zone that we had being tested. It's where the buyers should come in. It's where the buyers did come in. And if they do what they're supposed to do, then you need to do the same thing, and that is you want to be on the side where the wind is at your back. And the wind is definitely at your back on this side. Doesn't mean you're not going to see volatility. You're definitely going to see volatility. It doesn't mean that this thing's just going to blow right back to the top. Matter of fact, it came right into this bar. That's where it reversed today. But when you get over this one, folks, you start taking out all the swing point highs all the way back up, huge number of them. Once this thing sets up what is going to be an ABCD structure back the other way, in other words, you're going to have to get probably a little push up with a lower, if I had to guess the way this will lay out, you'll probably get some sort of a bar that looks like maybe like this or something. And maybe the close is in here, and then the day after you get a little pullback, and then after that you've got your ABCD structure, right? And then you have a massive move back to the upside. And if you take that and you combine it with what's on the weekly now, right, you've got these huge moves that still haven't finished up. There's one there, there's another one from here up, right? Those things are going to take you way, way up. And we're talking 2,300 numbers. That's what this market's going to want to do. At least that's what it looks like the day after, so to speak. That's it for tonight. I don't want to go too long. I'll try to do a few more tomorrow. That gives you enough fodder to think about. You want to align yourself with those places where money is going to flow, and you had some good indications today of where that is. Realize you're going to have a lot of volatility for a little bit longer, but the wind has turned and is moving the other direction again. Have yourself a great one. I'll see you next time.